Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about the do's and the don'ts around sliding into someone's DMs. I feel like this is something that has a negative connotation to it and a lot of people don't even bother at all. However, I know that there are some men that are trying to approach women through Instagram and not having a great time with it. So I thought, why not just have a chat about this, and I'll give you my opinion on what you should and definitely should not be doing when it comes to approaching women through Instagram. I would like to start off by talking about a couple of things that I think you should do before you even think about approaching a woman on Instagram. The first thing is have a look at the people that you're following and question what that says about you. People have a tendency to have a little snoop on each other when it comes to social media and will potentially have a look at the type of people that you are following and then make judgments around that. Someone that I know really well actually was following a lot of scantily clad ladies on Instagram, and I said to him, I was like, oh, you follow some interesting people on Instagram and I've seen that you've been commenting some posts and very interesting. And he was mortified because he had no idea that I could see all of his social media activity. So bear that in mind, because you are going to give out a certain impression, and of course if you're thinking about approaching someone with the end goal being maybe we'll end up in a relationship, you have to think about the impression that you give, because people make snap judgments and you want that one to be positive. The second thing that I'd like you to do before you even think about approaching a woman is have a look at your actual Instagram content and what you think that says about you. Do you look like the sort of person that someone would want to join and be in a relationship with? Is your content interesting? Is it at least clean? Is it PC? Or is it quite negative? Is it overly political? Is it in any way sexist? Have a think about that before you begin to approach people, because once again, people will make a snap judgment, and this is something that you can control. So let's say we've reached the point where we've seen a lady and we think, oh, she's quite interesting, she's quite attractive, I'd like to at least start a conversation with her. What do we not do? We do not slide into her DMs with a simple hey. The reason why we don't do this is because it happens a lot. It will blend in with what everyone else is doing, and it doesn't show any level of commitment, any level of specificity. So you could have sent that to anybody. It doesn't elicit a reaction necessarily. She can very easily not react to that, and it just seems a little bit low energy and unoriginal. You certainly wouldn't ring someone up and just say hey and nothing else. So really we want you to be giving a little bit more than that, because that will stand out. Don't bulk like and comment on all of her photographs. What I mean by this is not don't comment on her photos and like her photos. I don't think that's a bad thing to do, but it's when you do it all on the same day, all in like a matter of minutes, it looks like you've sat there, rightly so, because this is literally what you've done, and gone da, 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 da. And from her perspective, she looks at her phone and everything is all about you, so you catch her attention for sure. But this guy that likes and comments on everything all in one go looks a little bit intense and maybe even slightly obsessive. So you want to avoid looking like you're obsessed with her and that you have just gone through her entire profile. It just comes across as too much. If you do choose to comment on her photographs, which by the way is completely normal, definitely have a think about how you go about that. Are you going to just comment on what she looks like, or are you going to comment on her personality and what she's interested in? Are you going to pick up on a similarity between the two of you? You're better off not just commenting things like, oh, gorgeous or beautiful, because she's heard it before. Have a think about how you can be a little bit more original than that. My next point is don't expect a response. Instagram's not a dating app, and we all know that we don't always get responses on dating apps. So with Instagram, the chances of a reaction are probably smaller. She may have thousands of followers who are contacting her all the time. She might not be single. She might be there purely for business purposes, or if her account is private, she might only speak with her friends and her family. So don't take it personally if you don't get a reaction, which leads me nicely on to my next point, which is don't repeat message her. It's really, really difficult when men repeat message a woman because it makes her feel a little bit threatened and it can make her feel irritated. It's just not a good look. It makes you look lower value. I think a lot of the time when women don't respond to men, it's not because they're rude, it's because they're worried of the reaction given. Take rejection like an absolute champion. There is nothing more pleasant than when you reject a man and they're like, that's fine, and they move on. It just demonstrates that, God, this guy, like, he's actually really cool. This guy's like reacting in a really calm way. So many men react really badly to rejection because it does hurt. Like, we all know it hurts, but your reaction to rejection says so much about you, and her reaction to your approach says so much about her and what she's experienced in the past. So if someone does treat you badly when you approach, just know that, you know, that's not your person, that's not someone who's on your wavelength, and maybe you've dodged a bit of a bullet. Don't ask to meet immediately. It's really, really unlikely to work with a woman who values herself. We worry about safety and we don't know you. And it seems also like you haven't done any kind of vetting. There's no real reason for it other than you've liked their photographs on Instagram. It's much stronger to build a connection with someone over time and then make a suggestion to meet in person. Do consider things like her location, because it's very, very difficult to have a long distance relationship. And if she sees that you're thousands and thousands of miles away, she's less likely to engage with you because she can see already that it's a waste of time. It's good to find out early on, like, where someone's based. And then if you're nowhere near each other, don't try and have some sort of long distance fanciful romance, because statistically speaking, long distance romances are less likely to work. And if you want to increase your chances of being in a relationship with someone, it makes a lot of sense to only approach women who are in your general area. Otherwise, you're adding an obstacle that just doesn't need to be there, because there are plenty of people who will be single that you can actually meet in real life. So those are my do's and don'ts on approaching women on Instagram. I would love to hear from you about whether you think it's okay to approach a woman on Instagram, whether you're a woman and you think, oh, I hate it when men approach me on Instagram, or no men ever approach me on Instagram, I didn't know this was a thing, or perhaps you've got a good story to tell me about how someone approached you on Instagram and you ended up in a relationship. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you're interested in any one-on-one dating coaching, you can head on over to my website, and you can also find me on Instagram at Abby Blaze. Thank you. Bye-bye.